Hi and welcome back to my channel. I've not been around for a while, things have been really busy, what with work. I've gone back recently and children, but hopefully I will get some videos up over the next couple of weeks. There's a couple of toddler tips and hints or stories to be told, some about newborn babies and some just general day in their lives. So my first video is all about toddlers and getting them into sleep routines. I'm quite often asked how I managed to get Daisy into a routine, how I get her to sleep through the night, has it always been like that, etc. Well, first no, it's not always been like that. She is like any other child and any other person, adult included, and they have various sleep patterns. And it changes with age, it changes with circumstances, if they're unwell or if they've got a lot going on at the moment. Some of you might have heard about development weeks or wonder weeks. If you haven't got it and you've got small children, then I suggest you look it up. It's really, really good, it's scientific, and everyone really, really believe in it. Both Daisy and Alex seem to fit into those patterns exactly, so when they have a hard couple of weeks and I look at the app, it's always a thundery stage, which means that they're going through some kind of development. Basically their brain is working hard to work on that, to learn new things, to process things, and that affects their sleep. Baby Daisy was sporadic at sleeping really. She would sleep well, she always slept well to start with, so even from bringing her home the first day she always did about 6 hours. And that was good, so I expected Alex to be the same, but he wasn't. And then she would sleep all the way through the night as she got older, and then she would have nights where she would be up every 2 hours, some even more than that, every hour, and I think it just varies on different things. I've done a video before on controlled crying, and with babies I have to say I'm not a fan. I know there's lots of evidence out there to support it, but for me it just doesn't sit right with me, but with toddlers it's slightly different. I think as they get older, as soon as they hit to around 2 years old, they fully know what they can and they can't do at night time, and I do think most of the time it's behavioural, or that has been my experience with Daisy anyway. If she has a troublesome time, and she did go through a couple of stages where we'd sit on her bedroom floor and get her to go to sleep, we just have to rule out anything else. So was she ill? Was she teething? Was she getting her back teeth? Was she under the weather? Was she frightened? Once you've ruled out those couple of things, you start to realise that actually it's behavioural things that are building. So it's important to get out of that to make sure that they sleep. It was important for me to get Daisy to sleep really well before I had another baby, because I knew I would be up in the night with him too. We did have stages where she just didn't want to go to bed, so I made sure we kept her in her cot with sides on until we had a really good routine. I didn't want to take those sides off too soon, because as awful as it is, it gave her the freedom to get out of bed and roam around. So she needed to be taught really that when it gets dark, when it's her bedtime, when she's had her tea, bath and she's ready for bed, it's time to go to sleep, and that's where she sleeps. It's her own bedroom, it's her own bed, it's hers, she's safe, she's secure, and she needs her sleep. Luckily Daisy loves her sleep nowadays, so it's not all too difficult, but we did have to set boundaries, and I think toddlers always need boundaries, or mine did anyway. So it's a bit of tough love really, and there was quite a few weeks where Daisy just would defy go to sleep. So we would have things like the mattress would come out of her cot, the covers, her teddy, everything. She could reach onto one of her cabinets, everything would be swiped off. Basically we had what would look like the Exorcist movie. It was horrendous, screaming until she was blue in the face and everything on the floor. So obviously that's really difficult to ignore, so I was having to leave the room, leave her to it, let her scream. As awful as it was, we're detached, so luckily we've got neighbours to wake, and let her scream it out, going in every couple of minutes just to say, Daisy, look, need to stop this, it's bedtime, should we put your bed back together? I knew when she was becoming tired of it, and we could start to put back her bed, but she did have to get it out of her system. You know what toddlers are like, breaking them is really, really difficult. When she did calm down and we'd put her bed back together, it would be a case of, let's have a nice cuddle, mummy's just in the next room, or daddy's downstairs, whatever it might be, so they knew they were secure. I will come back in 5 minutes and check you're okay. One tip that worked for me was saying, mummy's got to go and have her tea now, I will come back after my tea, or I need to put some washing in or sort the washing and I will come back. And she was at that point where she had the knowledge to understand what I was talking about. If they haven't got that, then obviously that's not a good tip for you, but for the future. And it just made her think, ah yeah, mum's got other things to do, but she is going to come back to me. Usually, when I went back 5 or 10 minutes if it's nice and quiet, later she's absolutely flat out. So that's my biggest tip really, is put them to bed, sit them, read their story, sit with them for a couple of minutes, have a nice cuddle. We usually have a little chat about what we're doing the next day, and I say, well, you need to go to sleep, and then in the morning we're going to nursery or swimming or whatever we might be doing. And then she will often say to me, mummy, sit in my chair. And that's her ideal. She'd have me sat there, or her dad sat there all night if we could. But I just broke that habit straight away and just said, no, mummy's got to go and do these jobs. I will be back in a minute. Now that we've got Alex, I just say, mummy needs to check on Alex, or if he's not quite in bed yet, mummy's going to put Alex to bed and then I will come back. Now she's in her own bed, she will sometimes run out of her room after me or stand at the stair gate to watch me going down. And I'll just say, back into bed, I'll be back in a minute. She just stands there for a minute, but once I've gone, I can just hear her little footsteps running back to bed. And when I got 5 minutes later, she's flat out. I think that toddlers need routine, so we always do tea, bath and bed, or if we haven't had a bath, it's just quiet time in our pyjamas, sat on the sofa, reading a story or having her milk. She never takes her milk upstairs anymore because I find that she would ask for it in the night if she woke, and she does not need milk in the night anymore. So she has her warm milk before she goes to bed. Once she's in her pyjamas, then we go straight upstairs, read a story, and she goes to sleep. If she wakes in the night, it got to a point where we were not getting her out of bed. She would scream to be taken out of bed, and we just had to point blank say, no, it's time to sleep. You know, you can put your hand over them, cuddle them whilst they're in the cot or in the bed, but taking them out, it's just another reason for her to think she can jump out of bed. So that's just a few tips from me. Yeah, I'd love to hear yours and see what your experiences are.